This time, on Whatever We Want, we talk about
Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. Spoilers, huge big spoilers ahead. There are time codes down in the description. If you like to jump around to different points in the episode, we talk everything
from Jonathan to Red Witches.
Enjoy! Welcome back to Wherever We Want, where we review content across all medias and media, movies, TV shows, video games, and beyond to give you the most interesting behind-the-scenes insights, storytelling techniques, all that jazz, and more.
We go over everything from Disney, Marvel, DC, Pixar. So without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Happy Easter, Daniel. Happy Easter episode. Technically, Easter is like 5 or 6 days away from when this releases.
Also, we're recording it on April Fool's Day.
So all sorts of holidays. But yeah, I think we already recorded the next 2 episodes because I have a friend coming into town. And I forgot to like put on an not April Fool's, Easter like stuff, which I think next week would be like closer to the time of Easter. But this is leading up to Easter, the spirit of Easter. Good Friday's this Friday.
So I see your quickly drawn.
I know.
Bunny.
I drew,
Easter.
For our audio listeners, I drew Easter, or just like wrote the word Easter. I wrote bunny, and then I drew an egg. That is an egg right there.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good. And I'm also wearing like tie-dye, like a blue, like a I feel like sky blue is like an Easter color. And like this tie-dye.
Well, pastels kinda in general.
And like, you like dye eggs, like tie-dye eggs. Like, I'm an egg. Woo!
Okay.
Oh, this is your last. I also want to this is a momentous occasion. This is your last time wearing the bunny outfit.
Yeah.
It's a sad
weird.
time.
You're going to be starting a new phase.
1 year. I can't believe it's been a year. So what does that mean? The next holiday, you'll dress up as that all year? Like 4th of July? You'll just be patriotic all year?
Well, we're supposed to go back or forward one. So like, I guess we're supposed to go forward.
Probably forward. What's the next holiday we're going to dress up for? Like...
Oh, wait, no. Wasn't I supposed to do like one extra holiday after the holiday? So like, I do 4th of July as the Easter Bunny.
No, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that?
No, it doesn't. I don't know. So no, I guess I will be like patriotic next time for like the 4th
year.
And then just be America for a year.
All right, we'll see. That's an interesting bit we've got going on. This is the first time it's had to lapse, so we have to figure it out. Anyways, ready to jump into the main segment of the week?
Yeah. What are we talking about,
Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh, yeah.
D&D. Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. Spoiler review. Spoilers from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think overall?
I thought it was a really good film. It was a fun film, and it was a good time.
I want to ask what like D&D experience you've had in the past. Like, are you a huge D&D guy, or
I'm not like a huge
much?
D&D guy, but I've definitely played D&D like throughout college with different people. It was nice seeing how they like actually visually portrayed different like archetypes or different like races, like Dragonborn and stuff like that. So it was just cool being able to see like an actual visualization of these characters that like your party members would be, but like you're like, oh, that's actually them, you know, like they're like doing their thing.
I pleasantly like this. Like I want to lay the groundwork. I do not have much D&D experience. Like I think in college I was in my freshman dorm and I was walking down the halls and someone posted on one of their rooms like, if you want to play D&D, call this number. And so I was trying to make friends, and so I had my roommates from college that eventually became my college roommates. I was kind of just starting to get to know them, and I was like, you guys want to do D&D? And so 3 of us like called the number, and we were like these little freshmen and going up to this like junior who was like this dungeon master, and we played for like maybe an hour and a half, and all we did was like set up our characters and do like went into one tavern. So that was my D&D experience.
No, that's usually how your first experience goes no matter what. But then after that, once you actually like...
And then I never played again.
But never again?
No, we never have to group back together.
Oh, that's funny.
So I just want to say I do not have like any D&D experience, but despite that, I still I really enjoyed this movie.
Well, it's funny because like as I was watching this movie, I'm still like novice. I've definitely played more than that, but
what do you mean?
But no, there's like it's nice the way that they wrote situations in the film because they're setting it up in ways that you're like, oh yeah, that'd be like a saving throw, or like that was like a nat 20 that's just hit.
The potato throw was a nat 20.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. I was thinking,
and like I can like hear the narration of like the DM in the situation.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, so you pick up a potato and throw it so fast and so strong that it knocks him right in the face, perfectly preventing him from doing any damage to the child, and you're able to get her out of there.
That's like the Hail Mary roll right at the end of the campaign. Yeah.
That's literally what it was. It was like, oh my god, it was so great.
Yeah, but just overall, my overall thoughts, I want to get through that first. going into it, I was kind of indifferent about this movie. Like, I'm not a huge Dungeons and Dragons guy, like I said. I think the concept itself is cool, but I personally, like I said, have never really gotten into it. But I was like excited about this. I heard good things before. It was like really good. Like, it wasn't in my. It's not definitely not in like my top 10 movies ever. But it's like a really
a fun movie
that I recommend people see if they haven't. Like, I like the cast. The cast is very good. The adventure is great. There are some predictable moments, I think. Especially towards the end, I could really see how it was going to wrap up.
Yeah, that was the one thing that Evan and Sarah were talking about. We were like, oh, yeah, this is so predictable. We know exactly how this is going to end.
But I
like, yeah, but it's still a fun time. You know?
Yeah, I think I was more forgiving because it was like D&D. Like, there was like a lot of exposition, but I was like, that's what you do in a D&D game. Like, you just give your character these rich backstories. And I think they presented it in a way that wasn't like too jarring at all. Like, I enjoyed a lot of it.
Yeah, no, they set it in a way that like set up the quest and like the whole purpose of everything.
I think bottom line, this really easily could have been a very bad movie, but it wasn't, and I'm really glad it wasn't.
Yeah, and that reminds me, I didn't even know this until I literally just Googled it. Apparently there was another D&D movie back in 2000.
What? Oh, really? Was that bad? Was it good?
It has an IMDb of 3.6 out of 10.
So
a
bad.
Metacritic of 14%.
Wow.
And you want to guess the Rotten Tomatoes?
Like 20?
10%.
Oh my gosh. I don't give it twice the benefit of the doubt.
So let me look up Honor Among Thieves.
I think the Honor Among Thieves is doing pretty well. I think the audience was like 80s or 90s, something like that.
I think so.
For Rotten Tomatoes.
Where's it at? Yeah. So it's like 91% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's a 0.6 on MDB. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's the critic score's 91. The audience score's 93. That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah. I also just want to. I was thinking about this. I wonder how this movie's finances have been impacted by Stranger Things, because Stranger Things was such like a cultural revolution and it has such a cultural impact on people
that like invited that to like a lot more people.
Yeah, and it kind of like we're in like an era where like being a nerd is cool, but that brought into like a more specific niche, like Dungeons and Dragons is cool kind of thing. So I wonder how many people have like seen this movie because of that.
Not gonna lie, that was one thing I was kind of jealous of when I went to the movies with Evan and Sarah, because it's like we sat down like, you know, like in mid seats, whatever. Like in front of us, there are so many just like nerdy couples. I'm just like, oh man, like these dudes are killing it. They're doing their thing.
Yeah. I think
they're bringing in their barbarians.
I think the story behind this is also interesting, like why we're getting a D&D movie, because I think and I've heard this on another podcast, so I'm not exactly sure like the source of everything, but I'm pretty sure that like Hasbro or whoever, I think that's the company that like owns D&D. I think they bought the rights to like D&D like a while ago, a couple like years ago. But I think it's like a great IP. Like Dungeons and Dragons is like such a impactful game, one of the most impactful games and like long standing, but it's like monetarily set up in such a weird structure so that basically like you can buy the manual from like decades ago and then that's all you need to play, because it's all about your imagination. So you can just like buy a bunch of setup stuff and then never need to like invest again. So it's really bad financially because like you don't have repeat customers coming back. So like, well, you kind of have like a limited amount of people for most people playing. And so for this movie, they wanted to, I guess they're trying to expand into different avenues to make money. And a movie is like one of those ways, and maybe they could do more movies.
Well, yeah, that's one way to make money off of that IP and all that. But another thing that you're also not thinking about is it's Hasbro. So I don't know if they're doing this, but it would make sense if they are. They're selling like accessories that go along with it, like little like dungeon sets or like minifigs and stuff like that. There's already a huge market for that already. That's the thing. So I don't know if they'd be like important in that kind of market because it's already been around for a while.
I don't know, because like I don't think Dungeons and Dragons like really like you don't need those like miniatures. Like not everyone.
It's not about the need, Jake. That's you're not getting it. That's my point.
Okay, I'm just saying
not about the need.
I know, but I'm saying the reason like they're doing this movie is because a lot of customers just buy the base manual and then don't buy anything else again. So like they don't buy any of the miniatures or anything. A lot of Dungeons and Dragons people do that. But yeah, so the directors of this were John Francis Daly and Jonathan M. Goldstein. They've done like comedies before, which I thought was interesting. It's just interesting seeing them jump from like comedies to like this epic quests. Like they did Game Night. Do you remember? Did you see? I saw trailers for that one.
Yeah.
And then Goldstein did Horrible Bosses. So like those were some of the ones they did before this epic fantasy, and I was like, that's quite a jump. But like at its root, it is a comedy, and I think they did a good job with it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to jump into the characters in the cast, and then we can kind of talk about some plot points? What do you think of Chris Pine?
Let's define the party.
Yeah.
So, Chris Pine, awesome in his role, did an amazing job.
Edgin Darvis.
Technically, as the bard.
I'm the bard. I'll be the main character, bard.
I feel like you always like being the bard.
What? I told you I've never played Dungeons and Dragons.
I remember this one time we did something where you were like the bard character.
Oh yeah, wait. The only other time we did do Dungeons and Dragons, we recorded one episode of Pat's podcast. I think.
That's right. Yes.
Our friend Pat, who was on our Guardians of the Galaxy episode of this podcast, we were doing like a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot about that. So I do have a little more experience with Dungeons and Dragons, and I think I was the bard in that.
You definitely were the bard. What was I? I think I was just the rogue.
And that was years ago before I knew Chris Pine was the bard, so.
Yeah. Anywho, so it's you as the bard.
Cool. I'll be Chris Pine.
But no, it was great. I loved how his character literally was like defined by his charisma and like his drive to like keep on going.
It's about drive.
And it really did drive the party. It was nice to see that.
Yeah, I really liked him. Like Chris Pine's obviously a very charismatic guy, and I think he shines here as the bard. And we already knew he could sing from Spider-Verse with that Christmas album, remember?
Yeah. Dude,
we're just getting to an era where he's just proving more and more that he can keep singing. I also just liked his arc, like kind of he fell from honor in the beginning, and then he's kind of slowly earning it back, even if he doesn't believe in it, and like accepting his failure. And yeah, I think maybe some elements could have been pushed more, but I like his arc overall, and yeah, him reconciling with his daughter is obviously nice at the end.
Yeah.
I liked when every time he like hit someone with the loot, I like cheered. I was like, yes, let's go. And I was so glad it never broke. Like, because they could have easily done a gag where like he hits it once and it breaks, but I liked that it was actually like his weapon. Like, I really liked that.
Yeah, that's great.
Good club.
I like that a lot.
Next, we've got Michelle Rodriguez, who played Holga Kilgore.
Our barb.
That's a cool character name. I could so see someone like writing that down as their name.
I loved her character, like really every aspect of it. It was like, it's just so funny. Like, oh, she's married or was married to like a halfling.
To Bradley Cooper.
That was so freaking funny. I don't know where's Bradley Cooper. I'm like, oh my god, and that he was a halfling at that.
I was like, he's RPing as Rocket. Like he's the size.
Oh man, and he's also a builder too. He's like, I tried to build you a home. You know, he's good with his hands. He's good with his hands. And then he had that other barbarian lady as his new wife.
He has a type.
Oh my god, dude.
They
both do, because at the end she found her other one.
She also liked I really liked her action scenes. Like every fight she was in was, I think, very well choreographed.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I thought she was like a badass. It was really cool. I feel like out of all of the characters, her fight scenes were the ones I was most intrigued by, and like, yes, let's go. Like her fights were the most thought out, which makes sense because she's like the warrior. I will say my only like slight complaint about Holga, and it's not even her, it's like an emotional plot point. Her like death had zero emotional impact on me, because I was like, they're just gonna bring her back. Like, it's so obvious. Again, the predictable nature of it. But like when she died and like the daughter was like really crying, I literally felt actually zero emotion. I was like,
really?
Yeah, I don't know. I usually like get really like teared up when
I think you're just cold-hearted, man.
No,
I
dude,
felt
I seriously,
like it was predictable, but I felt something still. I'm like, oh man. Shit.
Whenever like any like parent figure like dies, I actually get like really emotional, because like of my dad and everything. Like it usually actually hits me really hard. So the fact that this one didn't, I was like, it's not working for me. It also could have been because it was like midnight, I think, and I was like really tired after working for like 10 hours that day.
You know, dude, for me, what got me there, like, yeah, it was predictable, but I'm like, it's still the choice of him having to choose. Like, do I bring back my wife, or do I bring back this woman who's been like your mom? So, like,
yeah, I just knew that they were gonna bring her back. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't really, that part didn't hit for me too much. Like but I still enjoyed it, and like it made sense. It'd been really funny if he was just like, that sucks, and then brought his wife back. I did like
you, I'm bringing back my wife.
I did like the relationship between Holga and like Chris Pine's character, like the fact that they were kind of like siblings, because I feel like a lot of movies would have like tried to force a romance there, and I really liked that they didn't, and that they were just like two individuals that respected each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was Holga. Next on this list, I've got Justice Smith, who played Simon Amar, who was that like bad sorcerer wizard guy.
He's been doing a lot more stuff recently when it comes
Yeah.
to like these like
He was detective in
adventure
Detective
stuff.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked him.
Yeah.
I think he was
Pretty
on the
funny guy.
verge of. I think there's a fine line between like being annoying with like having such little self-esteem and not, and I think he walked that line close but very well. Like I wasn't like really annoyed with him.
It was funny because there's a certain point where he was like, with the tiefling, he was like, I tried to court you before, all that. But then later on, like, he actually started hitting some lines, like, as a guy out of the maze and all that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, he's the Wizard of Riz. As I said that over to Evan.
The Wizard.
And Evan, yeah, Evan without a beat.
Oh, really?
He's like turned back. He was like, nah, Daniel, he's the Wizard. Like, I just lost it, dude.
That's funny.
The fact that you both said that in response to that. Oh my god.
I liked his arc. I think the females, I will say, I don't think they had as huge of arcs as the male characters in the party did. Like, I think this sorcerer, like his arc of like getting confidence in himself and then eventually finally being able to conquer the helmet and believing in himself, I liked that a lot. And yeah, I just feel like the two female characters didn't really have an arc. Like Holga kind of remained the same, and then the shapeshifter, she was like, her arc was like, all right, now I trust a few more humans than I did at the beginning of this movie.
I mean, it's different paces and strides for different people. I think that's one that's actually okay. Like, everybody doesn't need to have a big arc. If everybody did, then I think it'd be too bloated. And even with that, I mean, Helga still did get her moment with her husband and all that. Be like, I'm gonna show them all that I'm actually of worth. Pretty much is like her thing, you know, helping her. And that's also another reason why her death at the end was kind of important, because she finally felt like she did something of worth. Yeah, so that was good for her character too. I honestly do believe. Bring her back to work, but like, yeah.
What else? Oh, what are your thoughts on his and Doric's romance, like the sorcerer and the shapeshifter?
Oh, I mean, it's, you know, party members are gonna be partying.
Yeah. She kind of just like he just whittled her down at the end. She was like, fine, like, I will go out with you.
Yeah. She's like, well, we're gonna be spending all this time together either way, so might as well.
I think there were a few key like cuts to her, the shapeshifter, when she would like see him do something and she was like, oh, that like I think made it a little better. Instead, it wasn't completely out of left field. Yeah, speaking of her, the shapeshifter, Sophia Lillis, she played Doric, who was like the druid shapeshifter lady.
Yep.
I think she was like my least favorite in the party, just because the other three I think had more time to do stuff and she didn't really add too much emotionally to it. But I don't think it's the actress's fault. I think she was good. I think she could have morphed more, like in certain situations, to help them out. Like, I think they restrained her on morphing a little bit. Like, so for example, the thing I think of is like when the sorcerer like breaks the bridge and they're like, no, we're screwed now. I'm like, this lady could turn into a giant bird. Like, even if she can't take you all at once, that bird, she can do like one at a time. She can do one at a time. And they were like, what are we gonna do? And then they found that portal staff, which I want to talk about later. But I was like, why are you freaking out about this?
I don't know. I liked her character a lot, actually.
Yeah, no, I thought she was good.
Just being able to see a druid in action like that.
Yeah.
It was nice being able to just see.
I think this whole movie was extremely creative with all of the... And that's the point of D&D. And I think there were a lot of creative moments. And that's the one thing I was worried about. Like, I think this movie, D&D, like, itself is such an imaginative, creative process for the player. And that's something we've talked about a lot before about, like, video games you're playing versus... movies you're just watching, and there's like often a disconnect because you're not putting yourself into the character. I was really worried about D&D, like the movie, because I feel like the game is all about creativity and like you are laying the story out, and that's like the appeal and the fun of it. Like, I was wondering, like, is it going to translate if you're not doing that, you're just watching something? And I think they got a lot of creative aspects and elements out of it that would pop up in a random D&D game when you're just goofing around with your friends, these crazy scenarios that I'm really glad that we got to see. Like freaking Jonathan, like crashing out the window. Like, we'll take this bird and jump out the window and say,
"Yeah, I told you got us out." You know.
Yeah, I thought that was so funny, and they were like, "We approved you, like we pardoned you."
You know, that's the thing. It's like, oh my god. Is again, that'd be like another thing where it's like like,
The
do we
dungeon
take
master's
that?
really trying to push you one way, and then you're just like, no, we
And
have
then
to
just like,
grab
no,
the guy.
We gotta get him, and
jump him
yeah,
out the
exactly.
window. I could so see that role. Yeah, that scenario like happening in a D&D situation where it's like the dungeon master's like, yeah, just say your appeal, and he's like trying to get the story going, and then you like the players are like, all right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab him and jump out the window. They're like, no, you don't have to do that. Like, and Jonathan's not even there right now. And then he's like stalling. Like, I could so see that just happening in like a party, like in a game.
Yeah, dude.
I
Totally.
really liked that whole moment. That was so funny, dude. His name was just Jonathan. Like, that was just
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A lot of the humor landed with me.
Dude, headcanon, okay? Jonathan was going to be another of the party members, but he couldn't because he was injured from the beginning from that. So they had to go without the entire game without doing anything.
I saw.
And then he became the tiefling.
Yeah. I saw. I think it would have been funny. Someone said, I saw a Reddit post where it was like, if the D&D game doesn't do this, like, it's a missed opportunity. But they should like have one character like have this brutal death, like die off, and then the next scene, a completely new character but played by the same actor comes in because it's like the same party member, like just making a new character.
Dude, that would have been hilarious. They need to do that for. Are they going to do a sequel?
I don't know. I was gonna ask, do you want a sequel?
I honestly would be down for a sequel. I think it'd be good. They set up a nice world here.
I think they can do a sequel, but do just completely new characters. Like, even if they can't get this whole party together, that's the joy of D&D. It can just be like a whole separate Dungeons and Dragons adventure with a whole different dungeon master, a whole different group of people. Like, it could be a totally different movie. If they want to do a direct sequel with the same party members, you could do that. But if that's too expensive, because the residuals and like the paychecks go up every time there's a sequel, then just get a whole new party, because that's D&D. It doesn't have to be the same party. I think that would be perfect.
I think it'd be better if they did like a mix where you had like some returning members, but then obviously like you expand with new characters. And again, like that kind of opens up that situation where like one of your main cast like dies and then they come back as like another character. That'd be so freaking funny, dude. I didn't even think about that. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah. All right, I want to talk about some of the villains. So we've got Hugh Grant, who played Forge Fitzwilliam. He was like the Duke or whatever, the like con man. I do like the whole time that he was like playing King. It was actually him just doing this massive con, because I was like it jarred me a little bit. I was like, he's been gone for only 2 years and he's somehow become like the king. But it makes sense that like after they explained it, like how it came to be. Yeah, I thought he was a good villain because like he was very like charming and not just like outright all evil. He was like a puppet for the outright all evil, who was the Red Wizard, who was she terrified me, honestly, dude.
Dude, there's that one moment to where Chris Pine was like talking to his daughter and be like, "I'm sorry, I did leave you." All that is like all serious,
and then she starts laughing, and I literally leaned back and I said, "Oh no!" like out loud. I knew instantly.
No, dude, when she started laughing, you know who I thought of?
No.
Balby from Jimmy Neutron. That's exactly who she sounded like.
Oh my gosh.
like that kind of like repetitive like
as soon as like she smiled, I like was like, oh my gosh, it's the Red Wizard. No. And dude, but even before that moment freaked me out. But the moment that initially like shot terror into me was when at the beginning of the Oneer, it's when the druid like shapeshifter is like fly, that's my fly motion. She's like a fly on the wall trying to listen in about the vault, and then the Sophina Red Wizard like screams.
She's like stop, and then
she screams and like looks right at the camera, and it actually like I like froze. I was like, what do I do? It, like actually terrified. But then it like led into that beautiful Oneer, which was like awesome.
Dude, that Oneer was amazing.
But and there were a few like decent Oneers in this. I think there were like 2 or 3 that I can like remember happening. But that the chase through the city was like awesome. But yeah, when her just like she was looking at the fly, but like it looked like she was looking right at the camera port focused on the fly, and I like actually was shook. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, dude, they really did her character well for like the presence of her,
Yeah.
So yeah. I also liked when like towards the end when she's like finally doing the spell thing with her horn. And all the other rich dudes are just like, what's she doing? I don't care.
That.
Put it all in red.
Yeah. I do not know how to pronounce this guy's name. I think it's like Reggie Jean.
Is this our paladin?
What?
Is this our paladin? Who's this?
I don't know if this is about. He's Yendar. He was the guy that led them through the dungeon just for like that one scene. Who had a little bit of markings on his head. That was a paladin. Okay. Yeah. He was the guy who couldn't understand sarcasm. What'd you say?
Yeah, the Thing.
Yeah. I liked him. I thought he was a great addition. I think he would have been perfect opportunity for like he leaves, like walks off in the sunset, and then a new character comes in as the same actor.
Yeah, no, he was a good character. It was very interesting because he kind of was just like it felt kind of like he was like the DM, kind of like getting their course.
Maybe the DM, like put himself in it. That's the one thing. I think this movie. I was expecting this movie to go a little more meta, like kind of Jumanji, where like you maybe like. Even if you don't see the people above like playing the game, I was thinking like maybe they would reference like, oh, like that's a perfect hit or something like that. But they didn't lean into that, and I'm okay with that. But I was kind of I think just in my mind expecting that going in, like, oh, that was an epic fail, like a 1 or whatever. Like,
I wonder if that's what happened with the original D&D movie in 2000.
Maybe they learned from their mistakes.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
I was thinking it multiple times. I was like, what role would that have been? And I think when the like bad sorcerer like literally gets his foot stuck in the pavement for like 2 minutes, like when he's projecting that spell to distract the guards, I was like, that was a 1. Like he literally just had to walk across the courtyard and he stepped in the only hole.
Yeah, no, definitely, dude. It's also just the animation there was really good with like how they like were morphing his face and all that, dude. That was so funny.
Yeah. Last character I have on this list is Chloe Coleman. She's the actress that plays Kira Darvis, who is Chris Pine's daughter. Yeah. I don't think she didn't have like too much to do, which was fine. I like that that amulet, like that invisibility amulet came back. I was like, when is that going to come back? Because they set that up like instantly and in the beginning. Yeah. Yeah, they kind of set her up that she was going to be like a part of the team. They were like, even she came on the adventures, and then she was like never part of the team. So maybe in the next sequel, she'll like start doing some stuff. Like I don't know. More? Yeah, but it's what the plot needed, like for her to kind of be the damsel in distress kind of thing.
Yeah, no, honestly, I also really liked like you understood her perspective about like why she was like not trusting of her own father.
Yeah,
because he was gone for all that time.
And so also, what's his face?
It really was a nice way to like change what you thought the story was going to be from the beginning. You're like, okay, we can go there, or we can just pick her up and go. Like, no, she doesn't want to go. So that's like a whole new, like, different type of scenario you gotta try to solve there.
Yeah. I think everything was, like, really creative, which is at the core Dungeons and Dragons, so I really liked that. Like, all the, like, what is it, like, hither, there, whatever, hither, yonder, the portal thing.
The portal? Which, by the way, I love that they use a sound effect similar to, like, literally, like, the portal sound effect.
Yeah. I really liked the portal. I like Portal, like, the video game, and just, like, the physics behind it. And I loved how they put it on the freaking, like, the painting. Like, that was perfect. And, like, how...
And then it falls down.
I know, but I also just love that whole scene when they're, like, trying to break into the carriage, and, like, the portal's, like, dragging on the ground. Like, that was just so... Yeah, like dude. The physics behind that was like blowing my mind, but it was really cool.
They also had funny bits in there too during that whole sequence. Like the guards look over and they see her like pulling it from the rock. Like what the is she doing? Yeah, dude, that was great. I also, since we're talking about this portal when it was first introduced, my favorite character, Fat Dragon.
Dude, the obese dragon was the best part of this movie. Funny. I've never seen that in media before, but like I just loved it. Like it makes sense that there would maybe be fat obese dragons, and it was just like the funniest thing. Yeah, dude, I freaking loved that. That was so funny.
Great.
When like his like head like started peeking out, you couldn't. It was like the rest of his and was kind of in shadows. You couldn't really see the shape of him, and I was like, he looks pretty big. Are they gonna do like
kind of chunky
a fat dragon? And then he like burst through, and I was like, oh my gosh,
oh my god,
I like him big, I like him chunky.
Motomoto has entered the room. It's just a Smash intro. Da da da.
He just reminded me of like a fat cat, like when he was rolling on the ground.
Yeah. I feel like for just dragons in general, it's always good to get inspiration from cats. Weirdly enough, just from the way that they move.
I could not stop laughing at it, like when I kept falling and tripping and rolling over.
Dude, when they kind of like trapped him in the corner too, and they're like in the room filling with water, and he was like, like the fact that Chris Pine was able to come up with that like solution of like just blowing it up last second. Yeah. I'm like, that's like totally like one of the moments where like the party is like almost all dead, but then like you do something like the entire adventure. Yeah. that was it. So that was cool that they did have a moment like that in there.
Yeah, dude. No, I like that whole sequence. The whole dungeon sequence was really cool. And I'm glad they had Dungeons and Dragons in it because like they didn't have to. Like a lot of it was above ground, not in a dungeon, and not with any dragons. Yeah. So it's good they put that in there.
If they didn't have a dragon in there, come to think of it, for the people that don't play Dungeons and Dragons, they would be like, "What is this? Why is it called Dungeons and Dragons if there's no dragon?"
Yeah.
You know.
That I had that obese dragon under like things I really liked. Other things I really liked. I thought a lot of the CG was like really good and like creative, and especially like even the CG and also the production design. Like there was funny moments where like they're like fast traveling almost, which like you basically just cut to like 3 shots of like beautiful locations. Like then they passed the volcanoes of like these magnificent volcanoes, and they passed this great valley, then this like giant random castle, and then they're at the location. And that feels like what it would be like a dungeon master would like skip the like boring travel part probably, and then you just get from location to location. But like it's cool that they showed like this is where you're passing by really quick. All right, now we're at the next story beat, which like I feel like would make sense in a game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other things that I liked.
I like the 5 questions.
Oh yeah, dude. Yes, of course. Oh my god, dude.
The first one was hilarious when they'd like just mess up all the questions. Like, so I have 5 questions, right? Yes. Oh no, that wasn't for you. Only talk to me when I'm talking to you. Okay.
Okay. Why did you? Why did you end that with a question?
I didn't. That was so funny. Yeah, and I also like, I'm glad they brought back the guy at the end and the post credits, like the mid credits thing, because I was wondering, like, I mean, I'm still wondering what's gonna happen to him, but I was like, are they gonna bring that back? Because like that's something you could totally bring back. That was like a perfect mid credits like little goof scene.
Yeah, I did stay to see if there was like another end credit.
I didn't either.
Sarah were like, we want to go, and I was like, okay.
I don't think there was. I looked it up and didn't see anything.
Cool. But yeah, dude, that was funny. It'd be funny if he came back with like. Like in the sequel,
dude. I was
like an oracle.
No, I have a theory. I think hold on, let me find. I actually have this theory. All right, so yeah, that one guy, dead guy, that was like left because they didn't ask him the 5th question. I was really curious if they do a sequel, if he comes back and he's like this villain that has has it out for them because they never let him. They like interrupted his eternal rest and he can never like go back to sleep again. But they could just easily defeat him by like as soon as I imagine he like goes through this like.
Why are you here?
Of like,
because you made me.
Yeah, no, I'm just imagining he goes this whole arc of like rising like this great power of other undead, like building up this army to like fight them, and he's like ready, like, all right, let's do this, the showdown. They're like, who are you again? I'm the guy you left. You didn't ask the 5th question to. Bleh. And then that's how they defeat him. Like I think that'd just be really funny. I don't know.
I think it'd be funny for like a short. I don't think it'd be.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe like we should do
like as like a short. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, like a YouTube video, like what happened to the one undead guy they forgot to ask his question to, and then he goes through all that. Yeah, maybe we should do that. I don't know. I think if this does well, they'll do more D&D movies or like try to do more D&D media. But yeah, speaking of, is there anything you didn't like about this?
Not really. No, I kind of like the whole thing.
I think I had a few nitpicks. I think. Let me just see what I wrote. It was like really nitpicking. Again, like the 3rd act was a little predictable. This is a nitpick on myself. This isn't against the movie. I'm just saying if there's any more avid D&D fans out there, there's probably some references that went completely over my head because like I don't know them or play D&D. Like I think there was one thing towards the beginning where like one guy like laughed out loud at something and I had no idea what he was laughing at. So either has a weird sense of humor or I just missed this D&D joke.
Are you talking about somebody in the audience or somebody
in the audience? Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think of
the budget was $151 million. I don't remember. It's so far it is made not a ton right now. It is only Saturday we're recording this, but it's at like 15 million.
How much did it cost?
151 million.
Ooh.
Apparently it's on track for 40 million opening weekend, which isn't horrible.
Yeah. No, Evan's big thing was a gelatinous cube in the maze.
Oh yeah,
because he's like that other guy was tossed in there and he was like dissolved, and then like but he's like but the party spent way more time in the cube.
No, they didn't spend more time there. I thought they like did a whole lap before they came back and then he was dissolved.
That's what I was saying, and he was like, oh well. And I'm like, dude, it's also just a fun movie. Just take it as it goes.
Yeah.
Like if I'm saying that, like come on, it's like that's really just because I'm very technical and like I like to nitpick things a lot. But it's like if the movie and the vibe is good, which this one was. Like, I like to just ride the wave, and this one was definitely one where you're able to just ride it, and it felt good like the entire time.
Yeah. I liked the we didn't talk about like the third act. I feel like the third act like wrapped up like 3 times. Like it was like, all right, we defeated the Hugh Grant, and now we're gonna sail off in the sunset. Oh, we got to turn around and go back and stop the wizard, and now the wizard's done. Hooray! Oh wait, now we gotta save Holga. Like, but I did like the third act like battle against the Red Wizard. Like I thought that there was a lot of again creative moments in there.
I felt kind of like the Thanos bit to where like in Infinity War, to where like they're all punching him, and he's just like
magic,
no,
more magic.
No.
Yeah.
But no, dude, it was so funny because there are even moments in the beginning. It was funny because it's like she was blocking like all the magic stuff in that fight, but freaking the bard came in and just smacked her in the head.
I cheered again. I loved every time the bard hit anyone with his loot. I was just so happy.
Oh my god, dude, it was so fun. Like, so she can't block physical attacks. Interesting. And then there's that whole Hulk moment at the end when they finally got her with the owlbear, and she was just like,
yeah, like Hulk versus Loki in Avengers. Yeah. I liked that the wizard, the bard, or not the wizard, the sorcerer, like the bad sorcerer, like was able to stop the time thing, but they all like froze. I thought that was pretty creative. I think that was a good plan. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts on this movie? Jonathan, man. Jonathan.
Poor Jonathan, dude. Then he got his head smacked at the end.
Oh my gosh. I knew that was going to happen as soon as the curtains were there. I was like, he's going to try. Again, another predictable moment, but it was still funny. Like, he's going to try to go out this window. It's going to be blocked.
Poor Jonathan. Maybe the next one's going to be about Jonathan. That's going to be the next movie.
I think Jonathan and the obese dragon and the dead guy should all team up and like make another party.
This party's done us all wrong. Well, how would the dragon do it? The dragon's like in chunks.
Oh, I don't know.
The soul of the fat dragon.
Yeah. You know. Maybe the undead guy raises this dead dragon as part of his undead army. That's his undead steed. It's this obese dragon. Oh man. All right.
And there's just Jonathan.
Are you ready for the next segment?
Yeah.
I don't really have anything. Any quirky queries you want to talk about?
Let me ask you this. I know where you stand on this, but I want you to defend yourself, okay? Pineapple on pizza. Where do you stand? Why? And how?
How? Well, I stand that pineapple on pizza is a good thing. I really like it. I also like ham and pineapple on pizza, like a classic Hawaiian pizza, is really good. What was the other question? Why? Because I like the taste of it. Like, it's like the pizza-ness of it is good, but then like the sweetness of like a pineapple, like a fruit, just like little chunks, not like a whole slice of pineapple, but like little bite-sized bits of it when you get there with the ham.
That's the important delineation right there, because there are people that do Hawaiians with like the slices versus like the chunks.
No, little like small little like chunks, so you just get like a burst of flavor like within your pizza. It's like the pizza with like a little burst of flavor surprise. And how? I pick up the phone and I order a Hawaiian pizza. That's how.
Here's where I stand, okay? Because I feel like people are gonna hate. Like, there's so much violence, war,
in the world,
turmoil about pineapple on pizza. Okay. I'm the kind of guy, I will not order it myself. I won't. Okay. It's definitely not a go-to. Hell, I'll sooner put chocolate on pizza because I'm a chocoholic.
But if it's there, you'll eat it.
I'm just saying as an analogy. Yeah. So, but if it's there at like a party, something like that, I would. Yeah, I'd eat it.
Do you mind it?
It's there, you know. I don't mind it. It's okay. Like I'm so and so, you know.
I don't like just. It's not just pineapple on pizza. It's the whole Hawaiian pizza experience for me. Like, I like pineapple.
So you're saying
and
you need to have the ham?
I don't think I need to, but I prefer it. Like, I really like a good Hawaiian pizza, like the ham, pineapple, and then pizza. Like,
how many Hawaiians have you devoured?
How many Hawaiian pizzas or Hawaiian people?
You decide.
3 for both. I'm just kidding. A lot. Actually, my roommates and I think no,
a lot of Hawaiian people.
For the pizza. My roommates and I, when we in college, my roommates in college and I, we would always have we'd have pizza night every so often. We kind of rotate between pizza nights and like Chinese nights, Chinese food nights, not Chinese people. And
yeah, you're not helping yourself here.
And we would always get Papa John's. I think we'd get one Hawaiian, and a lot of people would eat from that. And I think we got one pepperoni or cheese, probably pepperoni. I think It depends. I think a lot of us, not all of us, so I forget who didn't like Hawaiian. Maybe we all liked Hawaiian. I don't remember. But a lot of us ate it. I think we were majority Hawaiian pizza kind of apartment. It was a judgment-free zone. Like it should be. Let me eat my pizza in peace.
I'm just saying I'm
not speaking to you. I'm talking to the world that
people?
casts those out who like Hawaiian pizza, puts them in prison until they escape on Jonathan.
Jonathan, what if Jonathan himself was a pineapple and the whole world of D&D was a pizza?
If Jonathan was a pineapple, then them jumping out the window, latching onto him would not have ended well, and it would have been a very short.
I'm saying
movie.
The whole world is the pizza.
Then that would have also been a really weird movie. And I don't think it would have been doing as good as it is right now.
It's the pineapple on the pizza.
It's a pizza kind of world. It's Jonathan's world, and he's Hawaiian. I'm trying to think of this analogy.
This is like a terrible. We're just going nowhere with this.
Okay. Are you ready to jump into patron shoutouts? I like that quirky query. Thank you for let me give my pineapple on pizza thoughts.
Yeah. And
what we got? Food takes. That could be a new segment. Food takes.
Yeah, we could. Food takes.
Food for thought. Oh. I like that. I think it's probably
How
not
do we do
original.
these instantly? We come up with like these little bit names like instantly, and they like are good.
Yes. Okay. I'm glad you think they were good. Your silence, I was like, does he like it or not?
No, I'm like, it is. It's like really. I'm silent because like this is really good, but how do we always do it like instantly?
I love how you're like we. I came up with that. Okay.
Well, yeah, but I came up with the other ones in some of the cases.
Which one? Exactly. We do have hours of clips we can go through and footage and see, but you're like really blurry.
Oh yeah, I am. Why? I thought I took off my glasses for a second.
All right, ready for patron shoutouts?
Yeah, hit me with them.
Wait, I
thought you were gonna do cool comments.
We have always done patron shoutouts, then cool comments. We have never done.
You literally said. I could have sworn you said cool comments.
Oh, I'm sorry if I did. But let's do. Are you ready for patron shoutouts?
Yeah.
Cue stars music. Pushka, Patron, Lori, Frank, Rick, Lisa, Evan, Tony. Thank you so much for watching the tier. Thanks for the shout out. Thanks for support over on Patreon. Links down in the description. Get the audio episode, early special events, cool perks, all that jazz, and more. I think someone dropped something outside my room, so if you heard that, apologies.
I heard that. I was like, crash, tumble.
Yeah, they're just so infuriated that I might have said cool comments first. But yeah, ready for cool comments now.
Yeah.
So Josh McIntyre on our animation bracket commented, maybe you guys should have 3 overrules each episode like this when you were split in your decision or something like that, because we couldn't decide on Shrek or Wall-E and then brought in Brett.
Yeah.
Enjoyed the episode. Shark Tale kind of goated though. That is true, but Shrek.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Shrek, and I saw another podcast clip, and I think DreamWorks is good, but people are very forgiving of their faults, maybe too forgiving, and forget that they do have a lot of bad movies.
Jake, I think you're just being too critical now. If I'm being honest.
There are some bad DreamWorks movies.
Being too critical. I think we need to have a time where we rank like meme movies, like Shark Tale or like.
No, I'm not saying Shark Tale's bad. Shark Tale is the lowest rated DreamWorks movie, actually.
Really? I like Shark Tale.
It's at 35% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, ready to jump into the introduction?
Yeah, tell me when.
When?
We just talked about what we want to talk about. Now we're done.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. We really appreciate it. We'll be back next week. We've already recorded it. We're doing, I think, video game genres, going through each one and giving like a few of our top favorites from each genre.
Top picks.
Yeah. So subscribe for that. Yeah, thank you. Go see Dungeons and Dragons if you haven't. Seriously, I really recommend it.
Good film.
Yeah, see it so that we can get a sequel, because that'd be great. We can get more Jonathan memes. If you like our pineapple and pizza thing, let us know, and we might do more food for thought as well. Give us food for thought questions. We'll give our food takes. All right, see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.